Okay, guys, there's some problems where they ask you to compare two different investments, where you're starting with the same amount of money, you're investing it the same amount of time, but the only difference is one of them has uh, annual compounding, another one has daily compounding, and they have slightly different interest rates. So, what this problem is really getting at is how important is the difference between annual compounding, daily compounding, monthly compounding? How much does it matter how often we compound? Well, the short answer is not much. Especially if you're dealing with lower interest rates, you're going to find that it's almost exactly the same. Now, when you're dealing with higher interest rates, and I would consider this to be a pretty high interest rate, like 12%, um, or something like a credit card, the higher percentage is going to matter a little bit more with whether how often we're compounding. Okay. Well, how do we figure out which one is the better deal? Well, we can plug it in our compound interest formula. So for this first one, okay, we have 8,200 for our initial investment plus 1 plus R over N. Remember, our N is how many times it compounds in a year. Well, for annual, it only compounds one time per year. That's why it's annual. So, um, so our R is 0.125, our N is 1. Now, for the daily, the only difference is we have a slightly different interest rate, 0.12, and daily means our N is 365. So 8,200, 1 plus 0.12 over 365, 365T. Now, the way that your book kind of talks about doing this is to plug all this in, to put 1 for our time, but really, the thing that sets these two guys apart, the thing that I want to see which one's bigger, is this right here and this right here. Because this T is the same for both. The starting amount is the same for both. So I want to see whether this middle part here is bigger or this middle part here is bigger. Well, this one's pretty easy. 1 plus 0.125. Now, this is a little trickier. You're going to have to shove that in a calculator probably. I got this right here. Now, what does this mean? Well, this means compounding 365 days a year rather than once a year really wound us giving us the same as if we'd done 12.75% interest annually, which winds up being more than 12.5% annually. So if this is our return on investment, then this is going to be the better deal. So we would choose this 12% daily. Again, this is a very extreme example because the interest rate is so big and these are so close to each other. Usually the best deal is going to be the best or the biggest interest rate, the one that gives you the most interest in your investment. Okay. But in this case, this wound up being bigger than this.